Last week we had Sam Brown on. He is running for Congress in Texas. This is his PAC. And you can see how it is burned, and I can't imagine being on fire. And he said within 30 seconds he was crying out for his God and his mother. What makes a man recover from this without bitterness? What makes a man say, I still want to serve my country after this? This is the PAC from Marcus Luttrell. I'm going to show you this. This is a PAC from Marcus Luttrell, and what he was wearing. You know, we've seen the movie, but this is the real uniform that actually was with him. I want to show you these pants. As you can see, his pants are all cut up, not in good shape. What most people don't realize is that when Marcus was, falling down the hill, the movie doesn't show this because Marcus is too modest. But he was laying on the Republic of Texas. He was laying down in those pants with this and this helmet. And he crawled for 8 miles. He put he took his knife and he drew a line up at his head, and he was pretty much paralyzed from the shoulders down. So he took his knife and he drew a line in the sand, and then he crawled across that line. And he thought, when my feet cross that line, I'll draw another line because I'm getting out of here. He did that for 8 solid miles. What makes a man do that? And then there's this. This weekend is a very special anniversary. Joe Namath had one of these on yesterday. This is something that Taya Kyle gave me to remember her husband, Chris Kyle, who died a year ago. The greatest American sniper, the one the president still hasn't even recognized. But this was his helmet. This was his tripod for his gun. And these were his magazine, still with the rounds in it. What makes a man do that? That. Now these two men had this instead of the American flag. Why? Well, if I may, show you one more piece of history. This is an amazing letter. This is from Davy Crockett. When I have shown this before in Texas, it gets audible gasps. People are like, oh my gosh. I mean, it practically has to travel around in a Brinks truck. But it's not the actual letter. This is so amazing because Davy Crockett was an American that I think felt an awful lot like the way people today feel. And it explains what's at the base of Chris Kyle's helmet. I don't know if you can see it, but it is the Texas flag. It explains why Marcus Luttrell had that. And it's not hubris by any stretch of the imagination. It really comes from that letter from Davy Crockett. In that letter, Davy Crockett wrote, I've almost given up the ship as lost. You feel like that? Because I do. I've almost given up. Several times I've almost just went, you know what? It's just lost. He says, I've gone so far to declare that if the president, Martin Van Buren, is elected, I am going to leave the United States because I'll never live under his kingdom. See, some things never really change. He said, I will submit I will not submit to his government. I will instead go to the wilds of Texas. I will consider that government a paradise to what this is. In fact, at this time, our Republican government has almost dwindled into insignificancy. Our boasted land of liberty has almost bowed to the yoke of bondage. Our happy days of Republican principles. And what are Republican principles? I don't mean the party. What are Republican principles? This is before the Republican Party. Small government, libertarianism, being free to be yourself, just doing the right thing. He's talking about a president who has just expanded the government like crazy. He said, our happy days of Republican principles are near an end when a few will transfer the many. This is the Van Buren principle. There are more slaves in New York and Pennsylvania than there are in Virginia and South Carolina. And they're the meanest kind of slaves because these slaves volunteer to be slaves. Is that not what we're living now? So what are the principles? What are the uniting principles? What are the things that bring us all together? I will tell you, old dusty words that nobody even knows what they mean anymore. We hold these truths to be self-evident, meaning I can wake you up from a dead sleep. I can ask you, hey, I'm the President of the United States. Should I be able to kill you without trial? No. Okay, good. Go back to sleep. Right? We hold these truths to be self-evident. You can go and ask anybody, anytime, uneducated or educated. They know it's wrong to hold somebody against their will and make them a slave. They know. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Okay? That means that you're not born a king. You have to earn your way to king or whatever it is. You have to earn your way, earn your keep. You're not just born into it. Just because you're a Kennedy doesn't make you any different than me. Do we still believe that? And by the way, created. All men are created equal. Well, created means, kind of lends credence to the next line, and endowed by their creator. Even Richard Dawkins, the atheist, he says, but it wasn't God. It's certainly not God. It's probably some alien life form. I'm not kidding you. This is really what he says. Some alien life form that created man and then seeded him here. That's what he thinks we'll find out. Okay, well, whatever. So there's something we can agree on. We were both created. You say by a super intelligent alien life form. I say it's by God. Either way, we were created and given some inalienable rights. Meaning nobody can change them except for God or the alien. Nobody can change these rights because we're all born exactly the same. We all have an equal shot. And among these, life, can't kill me because you're not my creator. Liberty, you can't arrest me. You can arrest me if I've done something wrong, but you better tell me what the charge is. And I have a right to a speedy trial with all my other fellow beings. And I get to be able to see the evidence. And if you take my child away from me, you can't put a gag order on me. I should be able to say, hey, this is wrong. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's why David Crockett said he was going to come down to Texas. That's why I came down to Texas. Can you still be your own man? Or do you have to do it somebody else's way? You know, we're building radio studios down here in Texas, or we're looking to build radio studios here. And we're also probably going to move our facilities in New York City, still in New York City, unfortunately, but move them. And we were talking about the expense of it today. Here in Texas, I don't need any special kind of light switches or anything else, but in New York, I have to, if I move into a space, I have to upgrade the entire facility, and I have to have motion light switches in every office. Well, when I ask, what is this all going to cost me at the end of the day, all of these regulations, you almost put me out of business. Are you free to be able to do business? Are you free to pursue your happiness? Yes, the internet makes it easy. I can connect with anyone in the world. Until they start to regulate that. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And in support of this, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. See, honor does play a role. Honor, it means that we have to be true with one another. We have to speak honestly and openly and treat one another with respect. That's what honor means. So to support this idea that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator, we have to have honor. There's your fix. There's your uniting principle. Forget about the Coke ad and are you a racist or not a racist. That's it. And then coming to a place to where you say, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. My wife last night, oh my gosh, she was talking to me during the Super Bowl. It got into the last quarter and she was rooting for the Broncos in the last quarter because she felt bad for them. I mean, can't the Seahawks just, I swear to you, can't the Seahawks just let them score? I mean, just let them score one. I feel bad. They should have at least one touchdown. I was like, do you want me to call the president and see if we should redistribute some of these points? What are you talking about? Earn it. Earn it. That's what it's all about. Earn it. Do I feel bad for the Broncos? No, not really. They were in the Super Bowl. How many teams didn't make it to the Super Bowl? Do I wish they would have? Maybe. I mean, I think it was kind of cool, just the butt kicking, but maybe that's because I'm from Seattle originally. Find the things that you